Writer's Dream. This is a show where we talk about how authors write their books, how they publish their books, and how they market their books. You can find us on YouTube. Just look for my name, Linda Maria Frank. I am the author of Any Tillery Mysteries. Click on my picture, and all of my interviews will come up. There are over 100 of them, mostly local Long Island talent. So if you're a reader or a writer and you're interested in how books get made and what they're about, you'll find a lot of information on those shows. We are also on Facebook. The name of the Facebook page is The Writer's Dream. If you wish to be on the show, you can message me through that Facebook page. And we are on Optimum TV. We are on Cablevision, Channel 20 at 2:30 on Thursday afternoon. Today's guest is Stephanie Larkin of Red Penguin Publishing. And if you are interested in publishing a book, or you're interested in some very interesting books, I strongly suggest you go on her website, redpenguin.com. And Stephanie, tell us about some of the goodies on your website.
Sure, absolutely. First, just a little correction. It's redpenguinbooks.com, just to find it. And we have lots of good things going on there. If you are a writer, as Linda mentioned, we publish full books, but we also publish anthologies, literary collections. There's always an open submission somewhere on that website. So if you like to write short stories, poems, or short dramatic works, please head over there, because I know there's different writing contests and all sorts of things for writers. For readers, we also have lots and lots of books available, of course, to read and purchase, but we also have a book review club. So those who love to read books, we can send you books to review. We have prizes and games and a lovely community of writers and readers. So thanks, Linda.
Yeah, and you also have audiobooks, and you also have online courses.
We do, thank you. There's so much stuff. You're so right. There are audiobooks there, including your audiobook, which I'm so excited to have there. And we have online courses. So if you would like to learn to write, whether you want to just get started with creative writing or poetry, or even something a little more specialized. For example, if you would like to learn how to write a mystery, there happens to be a fabulous course on our website right now about writing a mystery. And I know Linda's laughing because she is the online instructor of that course. So please do visit.
That was fun to do. That was really fun to do.
We had a good time.
And your website is like an amazing department store. Goodies for readers and writers. I love your website. I recommend it to everybody. Our topic today is something that I think a lot of us are feeling the pain of, and that's marketing in COVID, marketing in the era of COVID, especially for self-published authors. So I like to talk about the impact of COVID. How do you see it from your point of view? What has been the impact for you?
Well, certainly there's been a big impact, of course, around the world because of COVID. And some of the things are positive for independent authors, and some are definitely negatives for independent authors. I would say certainly larger publishing firms have had the biggest problem because they are the least nimble to be able to adjust. So you smaller publishers or authors out there actually do have an advantage because you can make adjustments or changes to what you're doing much quicker than, say, Random House. So some of the bigger publishing houses are having problems. Of course, bookstores, many were hanging on by a thread before COVID, and many of those are, so live bookstores, live book events, book signings, book fairs, most of those things went right out the window. Some of them will be coming back, maybe not all of them. So the landscape has changed drastically. There's also a huge problem going on since COVID and continuing with paper. There is a global paper shortage right now of between 40 and 60% down in paper. If you think about how paper is made and all of those places where paper is made, they're also affected by COVID. Shipping on books, very, very slow. You know, even if you just thought that any piece of one puzzle is just down 5%, and we know things are down more than 5%, but to get a book in your hand, it means the people who are chopping down trees, the people who are creating paper, the people who are binding books, shipping, and etc. Even if those things are only down 5%, it means that getting books to you is going to be 50% longer and slower. So lots of problems in the whole distribution area and the publishing area in general. But as I said, those downsides are actually, if you look at them, because you know me, Linda, I'm very much a glass is half full kind of a girl. Yes. There are many upsides to it. I'll just say on a personal note, the biggest upside has been so many people are writing, and I love that. Yes. I love that. The amount of books that are being published is way, way up, and the amount of books that people are reading is way up because of the pandemic. Now, that's a great thing, but I will give you a downside to that. With more books being published, it is harder than ever for your book to be found. Just yes. Because there are so many books out there, and all of those methods I mentioned before, like book fairs and sales and things, all of those things are gone. So it's a matter of kind of readjusting how you think about marketing, just like we've all adjusted how we think about the world. And we really have to think about it in an online space, not an offline space.
Yes, I agree with you. I personally have gone through the same thing. During the first COVID shutdown, I wrote a book. And because I could communicate with everybody online, I was able to get my graphic designer and my illustrator to put the book together, and we put it on Amazon. Right. However, I do not sell on Amazon. I'm a self-published author, and I mean, I suppose I do somewhat. The audiobooks do sell, and sometimes, and the ebooks, but I sell my books at book fairs. Yeah. That's where I sell my major, you know, I buy them, and I have a basement full of books, and then I sell them at crafts fairs, church fairs, summer fairs, book fairs in schools. That's my major market. And of course, as you said, it's disappeared. It's coming back. Actually, I organize the book events for Long Island children's writers and illustrators, and we set up book fairs in schools. And we have 6 events in the spring, which I'm surprised at, but I think it's because the schools have gotten to the point where they're just going to try to soldier through, just like Broadway. You have to be vaccinated to get there and wear a mask and whatnot. And that's what we're going to have to do for a while. I think that is the adjustment that we need to face. And but I think the downside and this is a downside in particular for self-published authors, is the fact that a self-published author does everything for themselves. Or hires individual people to do things. Whereas if you sign a contract with Random House, there's your contract gives you, you know, a pot of money, but of course you have to sell enough books, and otherwise you have to pay back what you haven't sold. But they also give you advertising, some advertising. They put you on the distributors' catalogs. All of that becomes automatic. Some of the self-publishing companies like Archway or Ingram Sparks, they do that as well. But you're paying for it. You're not getting, you know, money. You're putting money out. So that's the disadvantage of a self-published author. But again, because of what you just said, I am free as a self-published author to move ahead and do my publicity online.
Exactly. And I certainly don't want you to delude yourself into thinking that if you signed a contract with Random House, that they are going to be spending all sorts of money marketing.
No, I know that. But they do some. They do some.
You say some. For their top 5% of authors, they do some. Quite frankly, they expect you to do the legwork. So whether you're self-published or traditionally published, the expectation is that you are doing the legwork. Now, the question is then, what does that mean to do the legwork? Now, you said yourself that you sell most of your books at in-person events.
Yes, absolutely.
Started by saying, I don't sell on Amazon. But I think what you really meant to say is certainly your books are available for sale at Amazon, but you don't make the bulk of your sales there. It's not that you don't sell on Amazon. It's that the bulk of your sales are not coming there. And then the question becomes, well, why not? And one thing that COVID has done for businesses in general is any of those businesses like yourself, that most of your income was coming in from an in-person space. Many businesses have used the past 2 years to build up their online space. So that way, when the in-person space comes back, it's not like we're going to forget about this. You know, what can we do in order to sell more books on Amazon? In-person is great. We've learned that in-person can go away like that. So what can we do so that we are selling more books on Amazon? And for most people, the biggest problem with Amazon is basically clutter. There are just so many things there that you go to a book fair, you get to put them on a table and look all nice. And Amazon, you have a lot of competition there, which is why driving sales online through social media, through your mailing lists, doing all sorts of things in the online space to get people to buy those books is critical. And people will say, well, you know, I have a Facebook account. I posted once. Okay, I'm talking about posting like, you know, 7 times a week on any particular social media. If you're on Instagram, there should be, you know, several posts a day, plus reels, plus story. It's a commitment. And like you said, Linda, a lot of people don't want to do that. But I will dare say that whether you're self-published or whether, you know, Random House picks you up, you're expected to do that. So
yes, I agree. I have found that to be true. Also, Amazon offers you a number of ways of advertising and getting your book out front on Amazon. I have really not taken advantage of that because I have found other ways to do it. My thing is that I hunt through the various websites that, like yours, that advertise books. Of course, you advertise a book that you publish in some way or another. But there are a lot of websites that will advertise books that they have not published. There's like Global Book Network. I have it here. Let me say it. I can't find it right now. But it's there it is. Global Book Marketing Network. And then there's websites like the Author Show. You get one free interview. Do it.
That's right. You're right. There's a lot.
Any place where you can find a free whatever or a very inexpensive whatever. And the other thing that I found that has been very helpful is contests. There are many contests out there that are not horribly expensive. And one in particular, based in England that I found, it's called Wishing Shelf Book Awards. When they review your book, if you get an honorable mention, what they give you with that is reviewers. And what this gentleman does is, for instance, with kids' books, he has connections with teachers in schools, and he has the kids who the book is aimed at. He has them reviewing it. And I find that to be very helpful. If you get good reviews or you get on a website which will give you reviews, these are very helpful because then you can put them on Amazon, but you can also use a newsletter. You can post them on social media, and anything that you do with the book should end up somewhere on the internet. And I have to say that doing Instagram once a day, I find that hard.
Not for everybody. but that's the commitment involved if you are to market your books in that space. It's not a matter of posting once, one and done kind of a thing.
I know.
I'm glad you mentioned book reviews, because that's something that every author really, really needs. When people go to Amazon, and you know this, if you were buying a coffee maker on Amazon, you would read or at least look at how many stars various coffee makers got, and that would influence your decision greatly. Same thing goes with a book. So all authors out there desperately need more reviews. And that's something that you're mentioning, book contests, but I'll bet a lot of your viewers have not been very, very proactive with the people in their own circle. I'm talking about the people who are buying your book, your friends, your family, fellow authors, doing a book swap with other authors. That's something we do over at Red Penguin Books, is we do a lot of book swaps and book reviews, because as far as I'm concerned, we are an author community and we should help each other. And there are many ways of getting those, and book reviews will help enormously. So if you haven't been very proactive about it with people in your own circle, or like I mentioned, if you have 5 author friends and you all, did a book review swap, that's 5 more reviews on your book. That's huge. Right. So please be proactive about that. It's probably easier than posting on Instagram 5 times a week, isn't it?
Well, I'm going to definitely send people, when this goes up on YouTube, I'm going to send people to listen to this, because I can't tell you how difficult it is to get authors in a group who belong to an organization to review each other's books. No. It is unbelievable to me. Unbelievable to me.
And I
also, go ahead.
One of the single most things that will help your book sales. That's really one of those things that when people see all of those stars and they see how many people reviewed it, that is a huge way to help your book sales online.
Yeah, I found that myself. But I also, talking about social media, this is the magazine for independent book publishers, and they have an article in their latest one on using TikTok. Yep. Okay, so TikTok, of all things. And it tells you how to do it and how you must do it. They always tell you must do it. So even TikTok.
Yes. Well, my feeling about social media for authors in general, and this goes for any business. I mean, yeah, TikTok is great. Instagram is great. Pick one, whichever one that you feel comfortable with. If you go to TikTok and you love it and you want to make TikTok videos, good for you. But if that's not your thing, then go wherever you feel comfortable. But you do have to post regularly. And by regularly, I mean at least daily, because if you think about it, think of it this way. If I go to Facebook right now and I see the things that come up in my feed, and if I go back to Facebook in 4 hours, I'm going to see totally different things. Okay. Yes. Which means that if you, Linda, or anybody else posted on Facebook, if I don't look at it within that, say, 4-hour window, I'm not going to see it because there's other stuff. Okay. That's why you have to post regularly. So that's why I said, everybody will tell you, you have to do this, you have to do that. You know what you have to do? You have to find something you're comfortable with and that you're willing to do regularly, like daily. Isn't it kind of like exercise? If I tell you that, sit-ups are the greatest exercise and you hate them, you're not going to do them. But if you like walking, then that's what you should do. If you like dancing, that's what you should do. So the same thing goes with marketing. Find something you like and do it to the hilt. Don't listen to all those do everything. Do one thing really, really well. And if this week it's book reviews, do book reviews.
Well, there's also something like Hootsuite, which if you post on Facebook, They also put it on Twitter. They also put it, they link it all together. And you will see that if you look at your Twitter feed, you'll see if you scroll down, things are repeated and repeated and repeated. And that those are the people who are doing what you're saying they should be doing. And you're right. And that's how social media works. There are a lot of people. I mean, I interviewed a woman last month, and she wrote a book about autism, personal story. It's really good. And she said, "Well, I don't do much about marketing." And I thought to myself, well, I gave her a bunch of things that she could do, but I thought to myself, if you don't do it, the book is just going to die. It's just going to die on the shelf. And she has a perfect marketplace for a book about autism, especially, I mean, there's many organizations for autistic children and parents and whatnot that, she could approach them and talk about, would you please carry my book or offer my book or feature my book or whatever. And also another thing that you can do that I have found very helpful is everybody on Long Island and probably everywhere else has a local newspaper. And local newspapers are always looking for stories. They don't, especially during the pandemic. I mean, because everybody was hunkered down in their basement. How much can they talk about that? So, you can get your story out in the local paper, and then you can use it in your newsletter and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, there's a lot of things you can do, but you're right. It's a lot of work. And I think you're absolutely right, is that if you were worried about Barnes and Nobles carrying your book during the pandemic, you had a big worry because the store was closed for a while. And I'm sure even now, traffic in the stores isn't what it used to be. And also, as you said, the supply chain has impacted on people manufacturing books. Whereas my feeling is that the greatest thing you can do is make an audiobook. Because audiobooks are the way to go. I mean, if you sat on the Long Island, because I haven't been on the Long Island Railroad since the pandemic, but when I would be there, people would be either, doing this with their Kindles or their other devices, or they would be listening to an audiobook.
That's one of the areas that sales have dipped a bit because no one's commuting. They're all working from home. So audiobooks, I love audiobooks. And like you said, Linda, when everyone's commuting, but if you've been on the Long Island Railroad lately, it's completely.
There's nobody there.
I do want to mention one other thing when we were talking about social media is that, and this is especially a big plug for Facebook, there are plenty of groups on Facebook, both of readers and writers. These are all free. If you just go to Facebook groups and type in like mystery writers or authors, you're going to find loads of groups of people who are writers like yourself. And those are people that we can do what we were talking about, exchanging book reviews with. And you'll also learn a lot of things in those groups because you'll hear what other people are doing. But certainly it's a great community for book review swaps. The other thing you will find on Facebook there are plenty of readers groups. There are groups of people who are looking for, I need a book to read. And it's a great place to free advertise your book. So please don't forget that Facebook groups, besides just posting on your own Facebook wall, go and check out those other things because those are some really helpful things for you.
One of the things that you offer on your website is classes, webinars, just where you have authors talking to one another. And one of my favorite things is that if you're an author, it'd be great to find a rabbi, a person who's going to tell you about their expertise and help you along. And sometimes when you join these writers groups, I mean, now it's a little chancy in the library and whatnot, but they're online. You have them on your website. You'll find somebody who's been a little bit ahead of you or has an idea, especially about marketing. Somebody who was in the last group that I visited was doing marketing in Starbucks. And I thought to myself, yeah, that's a great place because people like to get a coffee and sit and read in Starbucks. So there you are with your book, selling them.
No, you're
So
right.
we have about a minute left. So I'd like to get your final words of wisdom and also to tell the audience, please visit redpenguinbooks.com because this is a fabulous website.
Thank you. Thank you. And yes, I would love for people to go there because we do have that community you're talking about. Just, leave your email address there so we can get you involved with other readers and writers, because there's nothing like surrounding yourself with people who, like Linda said, might be just a little step above you and you could learn from them. But I would say make a decision if you're an author of what you want to do and do something, baby steps even, but do something every day, do something to market your book.
Agree. And this second lockdown, I'm into my second Buccaneers book. So writing away.
That's fantastic.
So I think this has been very productive. I hope this is helpful to our viewers. And I hope to be seeing you soon, Stephanie, in person.
I can't wait.
I'll come and visit you in Rosedale.
Sounds very good. Sounds very good. I can't wait.
Okay, take care.